This is D5. You guys have asked me a ton to review it. I knew it had so much potential, but I didn't expect this much. It honestly blew all of my expectations. I have a lot of stuff to talk about this rendering engine, significant things I noticed that are interesting, but also many small perks here and there across the UI and engine that honestly takes the software to a whole nother level. The images that you saw in the intro are from my first test using D5, and the project shown is from Vaga Arquitetura. I've reached out to some friends to get a hold of quality local designs, so I can show you visualization tips and tricks with real interesting designs. I'll leave their info in the video description in case you want to check them out and see more about the project. As mentioned, this has been long requested by you guys and has been on my video to-do list forever. So I'm super happy that D5 is sponsoring this video. Sponsors allow me to continue creating these free YouTube videos, and don't worry, because as always, with all sponsored content here, I'll give my true and honest opinion about D5. So a quick summary up front. I'm really into D5 at the moment, especially this new 2.5 version that just came out. Again, regardless of this being sponsored or not, it is powerful, it's got a lot of flexibility and control over the more advanced stuff. The library, just amazing. And D5 emphasizes on the free pricing version, which is enough for most people. I'll cover this and a lot more during this video. Obviously, there are some things that are not that great that are worth mentioning in case you're considering using this engine as your main visualization tool. So watch it until the end to get the full overview. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content, and let's begin with my in-depth thoughts on D5. And please let me know your thoughts on it. You guys always leave valuable insights in the comment section, so I'm eager to know what you think. First things to address, the real-time rendering experience. It's a seamless workflow with D5 where there are no effects to be added to achieve realism. It's about setting up materials, changing up the lighting, and that's it. You can work with effects, but these are just to achieve a different mood and not really to enhance the render quality. I've always thought about a render engine as a standalone tool where you have to wait to see the render evolve into a finished product. And yes, I know the term real-time rendering means that it is in real time, but I've noticed that with D5, this gap between the final result and what's actually on the screen while we work is much smaller. This sure comes at a cost of requiring a powerful setup, so keep that in mind. You can, however, change the display mode to static and smooth to keep things running fast. It's here under display that you easily change the mode, and I actually have found these settings to be so helpful. I didn't know I actually needed this, but look, if you're trying to align something, let's say a light source for example, you can then add the light, then switch to wireframe, and then change the camera view to either front or side, depending on the object, and with the light source selected, hit Z on your keyboard to zoom into it, and easily line things up with the axis control. By the way, the gizmos is fantastic in D5. They recently updated it and it's smooth to use it. Quick tip, you can hit V on your keyboard to change from move to scale and therefore easily change an object's size. Next up, advanced controls in material editing. This should be a standard option across the industry by now, but it's not. And when I saw that D5 allows you to have pretty much all of the control in material creation, it's definitely a win for me. You start by selecting the material template, which almost always is going to be custom. And here D5 allows you to import all of the channels to work with PBR materials in full. It uses the roughness workflow, so if your PBR material library uses the glossiness, you just need to click here on this button that D5 makes available to invert the texture. It's the same as going into Photoshop and hitting Ctrl-I to invert it, but this just saves a lot of time. A really useful slider that D5 has on their material settings is this one. Under the base color map, you can expand for more options, and besides having all of the options to change hue, saturation, and black values as you would expect, you can also add contrast. So to the right for more contrast and left for less. This is a game changer and I found myself using it a ton. The material template offers many ready-to-use presets, and I'm going to add a few links in the video description in case you want to learn more about this. Each one has a specific set of sliders, for example cloth to add a fall-off to fabric textures, and so on and so forth. Glass materials are very well handled by D5, and I like to add a normal map with very tiny amount so that reflections have some sort of imperfections. And also worth mentioning, caustics has been added to D5. UV issues are easy to fix with this toggle of triplanar projection, although it doesn't fix every type of issue. And honestly, I felt that customizing the UV was a bit hard in some occasions. But since D5 is constantly pushing out updates and how much the software has improved over these past years, I'm pretty sure they will add more control over UVs in the future. To wrap up the topic of materials, Round corners is present. This helps a ton to break those sharp edges. And make sure to use the shortcuts I and O to copy and paste materials from object to object. I've got a whole list of useful shortcuts, tips, and tricks that I was thinking of making one of those videos of everything that architects should know about D5. Let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in that. The fast output of images and videos, and the ease of creating animations. I found it quite easy to export images and videos with D5, and scene creation is integrated over the main UI and not on a separate area. Everything happens within this viewport, and the settings are all available on the sides. You'll see it all in a glance. Now, it is important to me to be able to tweak the model and overall settings while fine-tuning the scene. So another big win for me was when I saw that you can enable here under Preferences and Widgets, this Advanced Camera Tools. It's still in beta, but then you can physically add cameras and see their views in picture-in-picture mode with tons of advanced settings here. This allows you to move and place things on the scene and instantly see how they appear on the framing you have. Outputting videos has always been challenging with rendering engines, but creating keyframes in D5 made this process very enjoyable and quick. You can then add all of your clips to a render queue and then render it all at once overnight if you need. Again, images, videos, and any settings are dealt with here on the main viewport. It's all collapsible, so they don't take important screen space when not in use. The new 2.5 version of D5 now includes the D5 Studio, a cloud workspace to store presets and other resources, environment, brush, and path presets to improve your work efficiency. You can also check out some of D5's curated presets to get a head start on a scene. It's a quick way to change the atmosphere of an image. But I always recommend then to further tweak your settings to really customize it to fit your project. Okay, now it's time to talk about one of the best things in D5, their huge library of assets, models and materials. It's got an insane selection of everything. I wasn't expecting this many different options and even different variations of the same model, so it's easy to avoid that repeated look when adding vegetation. A large selection of decoration objects is available as well, and I usually prefer to use custom materials and having my own library of textures, but these materials here make your life so much easier, so that those not so important materials don't have to be custom and you can get them done really fast. Now, I would love to see some more controls over the asset library. For example, to be able to filter out downloaded models or by color, you could have a tagging system apart from the favorites only. Also, D5 has a scatter tool, which works, but it's not the best. Whenever you need to change any of these settings here, you need to delete the whole thing and start over. You will eventually get the hang of it, but it definitely needs an improvement. Anyways, their library of assets is a big plus, but the whole engine is powerful regardless of this library. I'm saying that because that's what mostly sets apart the D5 free version from the Pro version. So let's talk about pricing. It is a crucial thing to consider, right? Sure, output quality, overall render speed, and all of that are important, which D5 sure takes care of it, but pricing is vital. So when I was looking more into D5 and even after getting on a call with D5's team, it's clear to me that they emphasize on the free plan. This rendering engine is actually free to use and there's no trick here. It doesn't limit the output resolution or effects or anything. There are no watermarks as well. It's a fully functional rendering engine for free. However, the D5 Pro is not that expensive, especially compared to other rendering engines out there. Right? They list here all of the differences, but I would say, especially after being immersed in the software for these past weeks, one of the biggest differences is the enormous library of materials and models. Therefore, if you have your own library of assets and won't use the Pro features yet, you can stick with the free version forever. Quick note, if you're still in school, they've got the educational version, which is basically a Pro version that you can get for free. Alright, last but not least, let's do a rapid fire for the other updates that just came out on D5, apart from everything that I already mentioned previously. But feel free to check D5's website for the full list. D5 now supports LiveSync for SketchUp and a converter for most 3D software. Section tool is implemented on D5, allowing us to be more creative with the engine. And D5 Teams is also here. Collaborative visualization can be quite handy for larger projects and teams. If you're interested in trying out D5, be sure to head to the website to get going with the free version. Then if you decide to upgrade to the Pro version and get access to all of the extra features, I have a link in the video description that gets you a 5% discount. It is an affiliate, and by using the link, you also support this channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave your inputs down below about D5. I'm looking forward to continuing this discussion over the comment section. Oh, and for those that got to the end of the video, I'm working on a rather important and new thing with Steven from Show You Better. We're planning to release it in a month or so. I don't want to spoil too much yet, but make sure to follow me on Instagram to not miss it. And in case you haven't watched my last video where I visited the Arco Ingles group in New York City, click here to watch it.